Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Crimson Pharaoh. Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the difference between Dragons and Necropolis. So I'm going to throw on some Dragons runs here, see how long my team survives these runs, and then throw on some Necropolis runs and see how long that goes for. So we'll hop over here to check the runes out as well. The reason that Giants is not in this debate is because these flat out have better sets than Giants does. It's very hard to make Despair work. I've talked about it before. You need very, very high rune quality on your Despair runes to make Despair make sense, and there are a small amount of units that Despair actually makes sense on. Swift is great. Swift is really good, but everything else here is just outclassed by something else. Blade, you could be thinking, well, what about Blade? Ungrindable stat here as well, except for that this is 2.5 rolls, whereas the crit rate on Blade is 2 rolls. Same thing with resistance. Counterattack is great on stuff that can stun on the first skill, or it goes great with Despair for stuff that has AoE skills on the first skill, like the Magic Knights do. But it's great for Verd, it's for attack bar pushing as well. Yeah, Revenge is just more useful. And as well as down here, other 2 sets for prolonged battles, stuff like this is just better. Like, it's different. Just having different effects is just better than the Blade. Like, this is 2 rolls, and these are 2.5 right here. So that's why that's that way. Swift is great though. Again, Swift, like, everybody ends up back in Giants. Everybody says that all the time because that's what happens at the end of the game. You have to be the fastest person, or you will not win. So now on to Dragons and Necropolis. Which one is better here? Violent. Really, it's a comparison between Violent and Revenge, and Rage and Will. And then you have to evaluate which of these sets would you rather have over these sets here. Now, these sets are just more useful. Focus and Endure are more useful than stuff down here like these two on way more units. However, later on in the game, for PvP specifically, these are simply better. Stuff that you would have Endure on, you're going to have Nemesis on, because you're going to find a way to make up the resistance values you need anyway, and you're getting extra attack gauge for getting hit, which you're going to get. The enemy can't win if they can't hit you. So, I mean, if you can go first, that's great. If you can go first and destroy the other team, that's great. But if you're going to be in a long, prolonged battle, like an RTA, Nemesis is great. Stuff like Destroy is great in RTA as well, and just general PvP. On stuff like Beast Monks, Hellades, and Dragon Knights. Maybe a couple other things. Stuff that's tanky and stuff that's going to live a while and do some okay damage at least is great on Despair. This is like support longevity. So if you're in a fight for a long time, this is great on the support, so you're getting extra turns to help you win that fight faster. Will is great for teams where you are trying to get first turn and cleave out, but also great for second turn teams where you're trying to cleave out with the second turn team anyway. Just because, like, it's hard to put a cleanser in your arena defense and then outspeed, because your your stripper might not actually strip the enemy team. It might use a different skill. So, in general PvP, a second turn team, like arena, like Will is still useful because you could get the stuff stripped. But also, like in RTA, I would say it's even more important to have Will for a second turn team, because like a second turn cleave, which you're not at the end of the game if you have that kind of a thing going on. Like, you're definitely, you might be end game, but you're not like at the top of the leaderboards if you're doing like second turn cleave teams, because like that's just not how this. When you have perfect stats on 6 runes on 5 different monsters you're bringing into RTA, 10 different monsters you're bringing into RTA, nobody's trying to cleave you. Other than that one guy with Bastet, there's one dude that's completely insane, but that's a different story. This stuff here though, Guard is borderline useless, other than on a couple defense-based units and Akaru. But eventually you're going to want to run either Rage, Fight, or Determination, or some combination of those 3 sets on your Akarus anyway. So Guard is going to get phased out. Shield is super niche. Can be used for the dot team if you need to. Can be used for Necropolis if you need to. Could be used for a Lucian Trap or a Copper Trap maybe, and Guild Wars, but it's, again, pretty niche. These 2, again, are good. Focus and Endure are just good sets, but there's other stuff that you would probably prefer to have over it eventually. So yeah, Violent is great, and Revenge is great, but I think Rage here, this extra damage being dealt, is more important than getting the extra turn. Because really you need, at a certain point, you just need your damage dealers to crap damage. It's what they're there for. They need to be doing as much damage as possible. Every little percentage extra you can get on there, you need to have them doing. I've explained this before too, but Rage is better than Fatal because you could potentially have a Rage set and you have a slot 2 speed rune. So then you've got slot 1, 2, 4, and 5. They can all have attack percentage on them. And if they do, you can grind all of them with legend runes and potentially get 40% if they all roll max. And then you're literally better than a Fatal set anyway. You're making that up entirely in grinds, just grinds. So, and Rage, crit damage is ungrindable. It's just much stronger to have it. But yeah, so Rage is just better. But yeah, between Rage Will and Violent Revenge, I would prefer to have the Rage Will sets at this point. I would love to start getting some PvP teams together. And Violent is it's good. It's really good. It's a really, really good set. But I don't have too many units on this free-to-play account where I'm like, I really need Violent. Like Verd, you can't run Violent on a Tricolor team anyway. He's running Violent. He's got the best damage dealing Violent runes I have on this account. These are his stats on Violent right now. And this rune isn't amazing, but this is pretty nice. And so yeah, wait, that was like a 3% roll, wasn't it? Yeah, 3%. So this could be better. I kind of want to make it better. That bothers me looking at that. That's a low percentage too. Anyway, yeah, that should be higher. Anyway, yeah, this is the best Violence that I have in the game. So the other stuff, this just works on free sets. Like Kona's got some runes that are pretty decent on Violent right now. He's got the speed in there. He's got speed here, resistance, whatever he needs. So I've got Violent sets there. I've got them on these 2 as well. But these are just looking at the stats here and looking at the stats here. I don't think this is too crazy on Violent. They're like free stuff. He's on Violent. It's a bunch of free stuff too. This wasn't free, I guess, but yeah. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 units on Violent on this account, and then 5. So 5 whole units on Violent here, and this doesn't even need to be on Violent anymore. I can put him on a super fast Swift set for TOA and make something like that work because I don't need him for dragons anymore. He is now a Second Awakening dungeon unit and a TOA unit. I don't need him on anything related to dragons at all. So literally, it's basically just 4. This is for Rift Raid. When I get a BJR5 team together, I don't need Violent in that team either. I just need the Rage for Belager. So then it'll be down to these 3. I could put him on Rage as well. I could just put him on Rage and he'd be doing more damage than 2. That's what he's here to do damage too. So yeah, I mean, I need Rage flat out. He needs Rage. He's on Swift right now. She's probably an Eternal Farmer. These 2 need Rage, the Frankensteins. The Coppers need Rage. Theomars needs Rage. Potentially this Violent set could be good on him too. You could switch it between these 2. A Violent set, that could be good. Because he does a lot of debuffs. He does damage, but he does a lot of debuffs too. So it's good to have him on Violent. Did I say Coppers? Coppers need Violent. stuff in here, like, these don't need violent, or not, though, coppers need rage. Coppers need rage. These don't need violent, any of these. She needs rage. He needs swift. Literally anything. Swift, rage, or violent. So when I'm looking at all this stuff, it's like, I've already got the rage runes I need. Eventually, this will get off violent and just, whatever I need here. So Necropolis just looks like a better place to be. I haven't. It's very nice that this thing is working right now. So I don't have any Necropolis runs to show in this video, but I'll show this over here. Necropolis, I'm running it it's over 90% successful with this Tricaru team I have. If you haven't seen the runes, check the Tricaru video, and all the runes and artifacts and stuff I'm using are there. I'm still running defense artifacts on Verd. So yeah, 120 in Necropolis. 116 here is the best in Dragons, but I think I'm going to be just running Necro. I was really just running Dragons for this video to show that Dragons has a lower success rate than Necropolis, but it's awesome that it's doing pretty well right now. Anyway, I think that's all for this video. If I missed something or like you guys disagree, you can just say in the comments. Like I don't. There's like, if you were to say that like Violent and Revenge are better, I totally understand that. Like Violent and Revenge are fantastic sets, but for me personally, when I'm looking at this and I'm trying to maximize damage in Rift Raid, Rift Beasts, and stuff in Chaos Dungeons, stuff in Guild Wars, Guild Siege, Arena, RTA, like literally every piece of content in the game, and I'm saying I need damage over extra turns, like Rage is just better, like flat out. And I don't have great damage dealing runes anyway, so yeah. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see everybody next time.